Hi everyone! In today's video, I want to show you how I did this 3D cloud design that I'm going to be using this new product that I just got recently. But I'm going to tell you more about it throughout this video. And actually, some of the products that I'm going to be using today, I already showed you on my last video, which was the haul. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but thanks so much for the support. That video has been doing really well, so thank you for that. But yeah, let's get started. The first thing that I did is that I prepped the nails, and since I'm using a plastic hand, there's a few steps that I'm not able to do, but I made sure that all of the nails were well filed. And you guys know that I like to do nails with forms, so I also got that ready. And since I'm doing square nails, I'm gonna make sure that the form is completely straight, so I'm able to do that shape well. Now that I already applied the first bead, I'm gonna be applying the second one, and this time I'm gonna put it on top of the actual nail. And then I'm gonna connect it, and I'm gonna end up covering everything up. Once I'm done doing the nail, what I like to do is that I apply pressure on the sides. And what this is gonna do is that it's gonna make my nail have more of a C shape, which is gonna make it look a lot more natural. So make sure you guys don't miss this step. In this tutorial, I decided to do the nails pretty long, just like always, but if you guys don't like it to be this long, you can also do it shorter and the design is still gonna look good. Once I apply the first bead, I make sure to put it between the actual nail and the form, because what this is gonna do is that it's gonna make my nail be a lot stronger, and it's gonna make it have less chances of breaking. And then I use this first bead to create the shape that I want, which is square for this case. And once I'm done with that, I'm gonna apply the second one. And like I said before, first I'm going to connect it, and I'm gonna keep pushing it until I cover everything up. But make sure not to touch the cuticle, because that can cause lifting. I don't know if you guys can notice, but when I do square nails, I like to use the lines that I have on the form as a guide. In that way, I can make sure that the sides of the nail are as straight as possible. And when you guys apply the second bead, make sure that everything is as smooth as possible, because otherwise there can be some bumps left, and that can make it a little bit harder to file afterwards. And this is how the acrylic nails look like before we file them. They are not perfect, but that's why filing is so important. The first thing I do when I file the nails is that I go on the sides and I end up perfecting the shape that I chose. In this case, square, so I'm gonna put the file as straight as possible. And this is how the nails look like after we're done filing the sides. Now, all we have to do is end up filing the surface. And this time I'm gonna switch it up a bit, because I'm gonna file it with my e-file. It's actually pretty easy, but I'm gonna be telling you a little bit how I do it. I put the e-file on top of the nail, and I just keep pushing it downwards. When you guys do this step, make sure that you don't apply too much pressure on the nail, because that can make it have some holes in it, and that can end up ruining the design that you already did. And I'm also gonna go over the cuticles a little bit. And this is how the filed nails look like. But after I'm done filing the nails with my e-file, what I like to do is that I go over it with a finer file just to make sure that everything is as smooth as possible and there's no little bumps left. And this is how the filed nails look like. Now everything is ready and we can start doing the design. Before we start with the design, you guys already know that it's so important to always clean off the nails, because after we're done filing, there's always gonna be some dust left behind. And that can make our design be a little bit dirty. For our base, we're actually gonna be using a bunch of colors. And to do this, we're gonna use the pigments that I showed you on my haul. And the thing about pigments is that they need a sticky layer for them to stay on. So the way we're gonna do that is that we're gonna be applying some white gel polish, and after we cure it for 30 seconds, there's gonna be a sticky layer left on top, and that's gonna help us apply the pigments on it. These are the 3 pigments that I'm going to be using for the design. I don't know if you guys remembered, but they came in a box with a bunch of other colors. But the ones that I'm going to be using are this pink one, the purple one, and the blue one. And the reason for that is because I want the base of this design to kind of be like a sky, since we're going to be doing a bunch of clouds. And the way you're gonna apply pigments, it's actually very easy, and it's very fun to do it because all you're gonna need is a brush. And the brush that I'm gonna be using is a smaller one because I don't want the nail to get too dirty. And I'm just gonna be applying the pigments by doing little circles on top of the nail. And like you guys can tell, it's actually really easy to apply because this sticky layer makes it really fast. It makes it like a really fast process. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm not really making a plan on where I'm applying these colors. I want it to be a little bit random, so I'm just gonna be applying all these 3 colors in a bunch of different ways. The whole point about this base is that I want all of the nails to be different. I don't want them to have the same colors in the same spots because I think that that's a little bit boring. If you're starting out, I feel like you're gonna really like using these pigments because there's a bunch of different ways that you can use them for. And I think that mixing colors like this makes it a lot easier than other ways. A tip that I have for you guys if you're gonna be using pigments is to be very careful with them because they're very fine. And if they fall, it's just gonna make a whole mess, which that actually happened to me. So make sure that everything is well covered so it doesn't spill everywhere. And this is how the nails look like after we're done applying the pigments. But like you guys can tell, they are very messy. So before we seal everything, we're gonna need to clean the cuticles. And the way you can do that is by using some paper and some remover. But when you guys are doing this step, make sure that you don't really touch the nail because that can make the pigments go away, and that would be so annoying. This is how the nails look like after we're done cleaning everything. And since these are pigments, we have to make sure that they're well sealed. So the way I'm gonna do that is that I'm gonna be using this top coat and I'm just gonna be covering everything. When you guys are doing this, make sure that the entire nail is well covered, because otherwise the spots left can make the pigments just like disappear. And I'm gonna be curing this top coat for about 1 minute. And this is how the base looks like after it's completely done. Like you guys can tell, adding this top coat makes it so pretty and it gives it a really pretty shine. And now we're ready to start doing the 3D clouds. And the way I'm gonna do this is by using this 3D art gel. I don't know if you guys have used this before, but it's actually really fun to use because it's kind of like Play-Doh. I hope you guys can see it well on the video, but the one that I'm gonna be using is this white one, since we're gonna be doing clouds. And like you guys can tell, the texture, it's really it's just like really fun to create shapes with it. And the way I'm gonna be creating these clouds is by doing a bunch of tiny balls. I'm gonna make sure that all of them are kind of the same size, so the cloud doesn't end up looking weird. And the way I'm gonna be doing these clouds is by making around 5 little balls, and I'm gonna be applying 2 on top and 3 on the bottom. And then with my brush, I'm gonna be doing a bunch of little dots on top, if that makes any sense, because I want my cloud to kind of have like a texture, because I want it to be as realistic as possible. I hope you guys can see it better on the video. If you don't want it to have a texture, what you can do is that instead of doing dots like I showed you on the video, you can use the brush just to connect them, the way I'm doing it right now. And if you want, you can just leave it like that. Another tip that I have for you guys is that when you are creating the little balls, make sure that the surface that you're doing that is completely clean, because this product gets dirty very fast. And since it's white and the clouds are white, that can make it look a little bit weird. If you guys didn't know, this product also has to be cured, and you have to cure it for about 1 minute. So it crystallizes and it becomes completely solid. I don't know if you guys are able to tell, but I'm trying not to do too many clouds. For example, the first nail, I only did 2. And this other 2 nails, I'm doing about 3 clouds each, because I still want some space left on the nail, since I'm gonna be applying a lot more things that I'm gonna be telling you throughout this video. And another thing is that I'm trying to make these clouds as small as possible, because I don't want it to be too overpowering, if that makes any sense. Here, I'm just gonna go ahead and let you watch how I do this last nail. I'm gonna be doing everything that I've been telling you throughout this video to do these clouds. When you're done, remember to cure it for about 1 minute. And this is how the nails look like. But like I told you, I want the clouds to be as realistic as possible, so I'm gonna be using a little bit of blue gel polish to add some color on them. And the way I'm gonna be doing this is that I'm gonna get this really thin nail art brush, and I'm gonna be applying a very thin blue layer, because I still want the white to show. I don't want the blue to be too overpowering, if that makes any sense. And of course, I'm gonna be curing everything for about 30 seconds. Like I told you before, I wanted to apply a little bit more details on the nails. And since this is a sky, I wanted to do some stars. And the way I'm going to be doing this is I'm going to be using white gel paint. And first I'm going to do a dot, and then I'm going to do a line that goes upwards, another one that goes downwards, and then 2 more on the sides to create this type of star that is actually very trendy right now, and I think that it looks really pretty. I feel like this type of stars can look like they are really hard to make, but if you guys follow the steps that I just told you, it's gonna be really easy for you, you'll see. And just like I done with the pigments, the way I'm applying these stars is kind of random. I'm not really planning too much about it. I'm just seeing the open spaces, and I'm just doing it wherever I feel like it's gonna look good. And since this is gel paint, we're gonna have to cure this for about 1 minute. This is how the nails look like after we're done applying these white stars. I feel like it looks so pretty and it makes the design a lot more complete. But we're not completely done yet because I wanted to add more stars, of course. But this time I wanted them to be small, and to do that I'm gonna use this metallic kind of like silver gel polish, and I'm gonna be using this tool to do a bunch of dots all around that are gonna be a bunch of little stars. And I'm not thinking too much about it, I'm just applying it wherever I feel like it's gonna look good. And this is how the final design looks like. I hope you guys liked it. I know that it can seem a little bit hard to do these 3D clouds, but honestly, if you follow the steps that I told you, I'm sure that it's gonna be very easy for you. I hope you guys liked this tutorial. If you did, please subscribe and like this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!